Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back into another production of the Cross Platform Baseball League. This time it is the Season 13 preseason roundup show. We're doing things a little different tonight. I'm joined by three of my friends here in the booth. Starting off, we've got one of the co-commissioners of the league, a Hall of Famer. His name is Dwayne. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Weaver. It's great to be here in the booth with all three of you guys tonight. It's going to be a big season preview show for us on hand, and we got a ton of content for you. So, yeah, it's just great to be here.
Another Hall of Famer and fellow league officer, No Hummus. How are you tonight?
Yeah, also doing great tonight. Just as Dwayne said, just looking forward to getting into the season. We really had a lot of good stuff happen yesterday, and just looking forward for the hot start to continue.
And the king of recruiting, the reigning Double-A champ, and a good friend of mine, Oxbox. What's up, man?
What's up, boys? We got a hell of a roundup crew here for you tonight. I mean, let's go get hype. I'm hyped for this. I'm ready.
Well, season 13 began last night, closing the book on season 12 and its accompanying offseason. And it was an eventful offseason. We had Webb winning that XBL Cup in that sudden death game over Luke Archer. Webb wins the Spring Cup with the Melonheads. And then, of course, the the three Hall of Fame inductions: Lazy, Ashnod's coupon rather, and of course Jay Boops or Jay Coops, depending on what year it is. All getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So an on-air congratulations to the three of them. It was a packed off season, and it really went by super fast all the way here into season 13, which began last night. And with that, with the beginning of a new season, we have power rankings to dive into. And Ox and I will start with the AAA here as we get those scenes set up and the feeds up and running. There's a lot to go over. 16 teams in both leagues. And we'll start here in just a moment. Ox and I with.
Yeah, we've got a special treat for you guys tonight. Oxbox me, I got to pick the emojis of the teams who did not send in their rosters due by the deadline. So Wishbone took the liberty of putting custom logos for those non-existent logos. So have some fun with those tonight.
Ox, is that what we've got here straight away with Dad Slush? I think that's the case, is it not?
That is piss.
So coming in at number 16, Dad Slush coming up from the AA. He's gonna have his work cut out for him. I think he's a player who had hoped that the AA would be coming back. The population wasn't there, so he takes the call up, and he looks like he's ready to take it on the chin, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, Dad Slush, he's not a bad player. He was my vote for the Von Assen of the AA. So we'll see what he's got in store for us. He's working on getting that roster in, I'm sure. So, we'll have to wait and see who else we got.
We'll crawl up on the list. 15, 14, and 13, of course. It's Joey, it's Astro Death, and it's Rick. A couple more graduates from the AA as well as a new player. What do you see from this trio?
Joey and his Teamsters had a big run last season in the AA round robin, so definitely somebody who was going to be real dangerous in AA coming into the season, moving up into AAA. One thing we didn't mention, some of the offseason changes in AAA. 83 ego was the hitting ego of the past. Now it's gone back down to 80 batting, so guys like Joey are going to be dangerous. Also, Astro Death, a new player, those guys played last night and had a real tight series where they split games. So, I think both of those guys could be dangerous with the lower 80 ego batting. It's going to make things a lot more competitive across the board. And then we got Rick and his Magicians, the Rookie of the Year in the AA. So he's poised to have a really dangerous AAA season. I think he's already gotten off to a couple of wins here today.
So these guys towards the bottom of the rankings, but as we've seen in seasons past, these preseason rankings are always prone to fluctuate. We'll see how that pans out for some of these guys. We'll move up on to the next trio here. We've got Under the Bus. He's returning. Mama June, a rookie, a new player at Black Coffee 91. He makes a return and he cracks that top 10.
Yeah, all three of these guys are solid players, Weaves, and that is a good point. Excuse me, I lost my train of thought, but just played Mama June last night. A really tough player, somebody who's going to be a dangerous player, a good all around. And Black Coffee and Under the Bus, two guys who are veterans of the Federal League as well. Very experienced players and capable of beating anybody. And I found my train of thought again, Weaves. You touched on it a minute, and I go over this every preseason stream, especially for AAA. It's the unknown. No one's played anyone yet. And there's a lot of new guys. There's a lot of moving pieces. So, your preseason ranking doesn't really mean anything. There's not a lot to go off of. Ranking shows are really based more off of results. So once we get some results, these rankings will take a little more shape.
We'll move on past that 10 spot to 9, 8, and 7. And then we have Fireball Max, another new player. Mystery Man and his Scooby-Doo gang, they're returning. He's in the number 8 spot. And, of course, Rise and Fall. He's coming up along with yourself, Ox, from the AA. You guys were towards the top of the AA last season, and he comes in at number 7. So there's your 9, 8, 7.
Yeah, look at all three of these dangerous players here. Look at those logos. Very nicely done by all three players. And Fireball Max is a guy who plays at a much higher batting ego in other leagues. So look out for him, a rookie in this league, but someone certainly dangerous. And then, like you said, the experience in Mystery Man and Rise and Fall, honestly, those two guys, you could make the case all three of these guys, you can make the case to be much higher rankings and very, very good players. A lot of experience coming in, and we'll see what they've got in store for us.
Well, into the top 6, these are the spots that the league office power rankings, combined power rankings, are going to put some premiums on as far as stock goes. It's Diesel, the OG Switch player. He's in there at rank 6. Cardiac Card, an XBL Hall of Famer. He's taking his first go around in the AAA, and we saw him make his debut last night. He comes in at number 5, and then of course Tezzy Do It All. He does it all, including getting ranked 4th in the preseason.
Tezzy, look at that new logo. Yeah, big shout out to all three of these returning players, especially Cardiac Card. You love to see him returning, and we got to see a treat of a couple of ball games that you and Dwayne called last night between him and Finite. I mean, what a series that was by two former XBL guys dropping down into AAA this year, Weave. So that's going to be an exciting storyline to follow. And then you've got another AA champion, D-Sil, who held his own with everybody in the league last season. He was right there with anybody. The hikers are now the bikers, so look out for them because D-Sil can really put it on you. And Tezzy, man, it depends on which Tezzy shows up, but he's a guy who's certainly capable of winning the AAA title, unquestionably.
Into the top 3, the prospective 3 head honchos of the AAA. That looks like another Ox logo there. Just No Name at 3. Oxbox, yourself, you are at rank number 2 after coming off a AA championship. And Finite Provision, who's already 4-0, if I'm not mistaken. We saw him sweep the Cardiac Card last night on prime time. He is in at number 1.
Yeah, big shout out to Finite, and that's a good looking logo he's come up with. He's already 4-0, like you said, Weave, and the most experience out of anyone here. He's got 10 XBL seasons under his belt, a Hall of Famer in the XBL, and an OG member. So look out for that guy, and then look out for No Name. I mean, what a great logo he's rocking tonight. The guy can't even get his roster in on time, and Weaver, I don't get it. He copied my roster word for word. The only thing different is the player names from our 2 rosters after he saw me post mine. So I don't understand how he didn't get it in on time, but that's the logo he's rocking this year. And I think all 3 of us, we're looking to have good seasons, but it's by no means a certainty.
Really interesting juxtaposition there. You have Finite, who was in the highest league, the XBL last season, and he went winless. He did not win a game. You can see 0-34. Contrasted with the number 2 ranking here, yourself, Ox, you didn't lose a game in the AA, the lower of the 3 leagues, and now you're both meeting in the middle. It's going to be a very interesting scrappy dogfight here to at least begin the AA season. A lot to look forward to. Those are your preseason AAA power rankings, and for the XBL power rankings, we will turn it over to Dwayne and Hummus.
Thank you very much, Weaver. Good to be back on the mic here for some roundup action. We're going to be going through the XBL power rankings as we've just stated. And right here at number 16, we have the XBL debut of Dark Raider to go to 2-season veteran here.
Yeah, Dark Raider is to say 2-season veteran. One thing I've noticed about his stats, he doesn't score a lot of runs, but he does a really good job of shutting teams down and not allowing them to get a lot of runs, which is crucial here in the XBL, being able to lock down those teams that have high power offenses, just holding them to 1-2 runs. Maybe give yourself more breathing room for your offense to just get something going, take a couple upsets along the way.
Yeah, definitely Dark Raider, a player who will keep the game close, and he's going to use this as nothing but motivation to power himself forward into his first XBL foray. It's going to be really exciting to watch as we move up to ranks 13, 14, and 15 in the form of Chronic Lies, Milky Yeezus, and This Is Eduardo, all 3 coming up from the AAA this season.
Yeah, we're having a lot of AAA come-uppers, and we've seen a lot of teams over the season. They come up from AAA. Some, they struggle in the seasons, and others, they just come roaring right out the gate, just coming straight onto the scene here. One person I'm looking forward to is seeing This Is Eduardo. He's another one of those players who are just tough as nails, very hard to break through and get a lot of scoring on, or just holding him down. We've seen him definitely have some rallies in the previous postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. Eduardo, a huge XBL pennant race veteran in and of itself, so he's going to use that to try and grind his way through the top tier competition that's up here. And Jesus and Chronic Lies both had semifinal showings in the AAA last season themselves. They're going to be trying to start off hot. It's always interesting to see how these AAA graduates do. Like you said, some of them start off really hot, some of them kind of fizzle out to begin with, and then get the swing of things later, and then sometimes it doesn't go so well. So these first few weeks will be telling as we slide up here to ranks 10, 11, and 12. Webb debuting in the top 10 for this season, followed by Primatilt and Mergedrone making the big return.
Yeah, Webb at 10 just goes to show you how tough this season XBL is going to be. Webb, as most of you know, he just most recently won the XBL Cup, but he's only sitting at 10, so that might be a little chip on his shoulder to try to prove and get himself moved up these rankings in the coming weeks.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see. We know Mers is an expert pitcher, so if that skill comes back into the XBL and he's winning close games like we know he can, he could easily push it into these playoff positions, as you stated. Permatilt ranked number 11, had that 12 and 22 showing in season 12. I think he was on the outside looking in, but squeaked right into the playoffs at the end there. We're going to see him try and do a lot better this season. And we're sliding up now to rank 7, 8, and 9. Flash, no roster on time, so get one of those custom Ox emojis. Gotta feel good. He's sandwiched right there by Speed Demon and Wishbone Rules, two players who I think are going to have great seasons.
Yeah, Wish, he's coming, like, he's every season we've seen he's always improving. If he has a one down year, next season he just comes right back up, just side rock. So I could definitely see Wish just continuing that ascension, just making his way up the rankings.
For sure, you could definitely use this as a springboard season to really solidify himself into the the next level of XBL competition. And that's somewhere I think Speed Demon and Flash sort of reside. So that's where this big 7, 8, 9 push, that top 8 of the XBL is something that you really want to be a part of. Speed Demon only in his second XBL season, but he's been around the Federal League for a long time. He won the Rookie of the Year last season in the XBL, finishing above 500. So to be ranked above, the commissioner of the league, the guy who put this all together, that's got to feel good. And Flash, with 14 and 20 last season, I think he's due for a positive season himself. Let's see if the power comes back for those Flashertons. We'll power up the board to 4, 5, and 6. Big rankings here in the form of Luke Archer and his new look forward Wisconsin Baseball Club. Mike the Cooch returns with the Cooch Potato Nation down in NOLA, and following it up with the seasonal Sun Sox by myself.
Yeah, looking at the screen now, you see all three teams got new logos and essentially new teams here. Mike coming back with his Crush Potatoes and you switching it up this season for the summer with Sun Sox, and then Luke Archer, it looks like he's ditching the Mallards look for a new blue and white.
Yeah, all three of these teams, going to be pushing for a top 4 position this season. You'd have to think this is where the XBL is getting super competitive right now, but as you know, we're going to go up to the top 3 here, and it's the old standbys who returned once again for season 13. Debuting at number 1 in the rankings is Weaver and his Beavers, followed by Lazy bringing back the Black Jackals, and Ashnod's Coupon and his Faithful Blues searching for their elusive first title once again.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting for the Blues this season because they won't have as much power going into this season due to all the new rule changes. So we'll see if he's able to still just muster all that power that we've seen him do time and time again. And let's see if he can finally climb the hill, claim that championship he's been yearning for all these seasons.
Yeah, he's going to have to go through these two who faced off in the World Series last season, Weaver and Lazy. They had a great series. If you missed it, Weaver coming from behind there after going down early in the series to take it. And I think it was 7 games. So an epic series. You can see all the accolades there on the board for all of these players, and they're all well decorated, going to be going at it again. We'll see if a dark horse wins the title or if it's one of these 3. It's going to be developing over the next 6 weeks, and we'll keep our eyes on it. We're moving on now to the Spreadsheet Wizard stats to watch this season, a fun segment brought to us by Wishbone every season on the weekly roundup that highlights fun things around the league to keep your eyes on. And we're starting it off here with the new rules, the new builds, the new play. There's so much to look at and see with these with the new XBL rule set, including the new team building rules this season, bringing about a slew of new styles, including the fabled but never before seen defensive experts build.
Yeah, the defensive expert, a few years ago, people were called you crazy for trying to build that. Now it's actually a viable strategy because with power being so expensive now, you can't really afford to just go all in on power and then be left with nothing for all your other stats. So it's gonna be really interesting this season to see, which teams are able to, like I guess kick off the training wheels and just continue rolling with their home runs.
Yeah, it will be interesting indeed as the XBL Power Bar average decreased 15% this season to an average of 3.31. So a lot of teams not even pushing that 4 power mark, a lot closer to 3. And the same for contact, both power and contact much lower, closer to 3 now. Speed at a nice 3.5, all decreasing. 10% is for speed, and then defense, rotation, and bullpen all getting increases. Marginally anywhere ranging from 3% on rotation to 18 and 17% on bullpen and defense. So there's a lot more going into the other side of the ball this season from all the teams. And the spreads in the AAA are extremely similar. So overall, we're having 4 teams with 18 bars, 8 teams with 19 bars, 18 teams with 20 bars, and 2 teams with 21 bars. There's a lot more team identity going on here in the XBL and AAA. Wouldn't you say, Hummus?
Yeah, like this is our first season here. We have going with different bars here. A lot of people have been experimenting with different strategies. Maybe going for that more balanced look, or just going all in on that defense bullpen approach. Just being able to lock down teams late into the games, which is very crucial come playoff time, and those regular season games where it could just very well be a run difference between a win and loss. So yeah, it's gonna be very exciting to see how all these teams stack up this season with all the new changes.
Yeah, season 13 gonna be huge. We're gonna go to the next point. AAA saying Shaka is in, although the XBL largely continues to shun Shaka Sports Turf, with only one team choosing it as a home field this season, being Permatill and his Full Tilt Flippers. The AAA has found it fashionable once again, with 4 teams, or that's 25% of the league, having chosen Shaka this season. Still, it could be worse. Season 8's Shaka field rate was at 33%, 1 in 3. Remember those days, Hummer?
Oh, that was something, especially in season 8 when it was a lot of very good pitching. I believe many pitching records were broken that season, and very well could be said same here. Going to Shaka, that's a very tough stadium to have a good offensive day in, because a lot of leg room there in the outfield. So it's gonna be interesting to see how teams adapt. Have all of that like room to work with, along with their high defense and high bullpen already working with.
Yeah, that is true. There's definitely more investment in defense in the league. We'll see if those Shaka players benefit from it, going against the heavy hitters at the top end of this AAA this season. The following point is going to be the circle logos are out. That's a huge topic of debate in the XBL, AAA, and AA last season and beforehand. We've had this discussion with the tier listings. Everyone has a good time dropping their circle logo tier list. I for one, think circle logos are superior, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to go with 10 of 16 logos in the XBL this season are circles, while only 1 of 16 have chosen the shape of the gods in AAA. That one player happens to be 11 season XBL veteran, Finite Provision, so you'd have to think he knows something.
Yeah, you already said right there, the veteran choosing the circle logo here. That could very well be the difference between him winning the World Series or not. Just having the gods shine down on them with that circle logo.
Yeah, it's a fun point there for Wishbone to point out for us. And now we thank him once again for putting these together. The Spreadsheet Wizards Statue Watch, always an exciting segment. And as we've had in the past here, one of the favorite segments coming back to the XBL Roundup. And Weaver, you want to introduce that for us?
Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Hummus. Yeah, we have some hot takes courtesy of everyone's favorite hot potato, Mike the Cooch, the streamer extraordinaire. He has delivered some scalding takes for us. I'm going to go one by one, and we're going to see what our panel of experts think on some of these, you could say interesting takes. You could say downright bizarre takes. Let's see what they think. Number 1, nobody, and I'm going to assume this applies to both leagues, nobody hits more than 75 homers this season. What do you guys think?
I don't. Take it away, Ox.
We've got, 15 teams in each league, I believe, right? 16, 15?
16.
So 30, roughly 30 games, right? So, yeah, 75 home runs would be an incredible rate, especially with the cost of power. I'm actually I'm buying that take.
I'm selling that take.
Yeah, that one's really tough, and the main reason we still have Ashnod playing all those games. So I feel like as long as Ashnod is still playing in the XBL, there's no home run record that's not safe. So if anyone could beat this, it's gonna be Ashnod.
I totally agree. I think maybe even Flash. I'm telling you, I think this is a hot take on my end, but Flash maybe not will beat Ashnod. Ashnod might get more than 75 too. But I think this is a big season where we're going to see some power, hopefully from him again, as long as his satellite works out. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum because you look at the new rules and like you guys just went over, power and contact across the board have been slashed on a lot of teams. So you'd think that would lead to less homers, but at the same time, velocity is way down. So I you could really go either way. That is a good take. I think it's nice and divisive. Thanks, Mike. We'll get to
Nice and
number two.
spicy.
We'll get into number two, which from Mike is a self-deprecating hot take. You love those. Mike says he's going to finish outside the top six. I'm selling this one. What do you guys think about that?
President of the Wash Club.
President of the
No, I
Wash
think
Club. Go ahead,
yeah,
Hummus.
yeah, he's coming back this season, and taking a little break. I could definitely see him, being a little rusty from the get-go, not like, maybe dropping some games that he normally win. And then maybe towards the end of the season, he starts to pick it up, start getting those key wins. I could definitely, maybe he finishes outside, but definitely no lower than like 7 or 8. Like I think like no matter what, like where he finishes, he's gonna at least have home field advantage, like in the playoffs, assuming wild card.
As I love to bring this up every season because Mike never plays, but he's back this year, and I'm going to bring it up again. The only guy to take a game off of Fluribel, Ash, Lazy, all in the same season was Mike the Kutch. I think he was the only guy to do that. So he's got the potential, but can he put it all together?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a strong take on Mike's end. He knows the kind of rust he's got, but I think he's just trying to boost himself a little bit in the self-confidence factor. On the selfish end, I'm going to say no, he doesn't finish in the top six because I'm trying to finish in the top six.
Yeah, there you
But,
go.
but he's more than capable of taking a big spot and a big leap over anybody who's in that conversation. And when Mike's at his best, he hits with the top tier players who have ever played Super Mega Baseball 3. That's why we flocked to him in the beginning. He was fun to watch and he was good at this game. So it's great to have him back.
Absolutely.
It is, yeah. It's awesome to see him back. He's an exciting player when he plays. We haven't seen him since the 9th season, so a lot of excitement potentially around the corner. I'm thinking this might be the hottest take. This or the last one. Lazy does not make the World Series. I think I see what he's going for, but I'm selling.
That's almost as hot of a take as saying someone not named Weaver wins Devon Acheson. But I'll tell you, as hot of a take as it is, I think it would be awesome to see. I mean, Lazy's played 3 seasons in the XBL, and the only man, Weaver, stopped him from winning all 3 World Series. So I think, if someone were to stop Lazy from making the World Series, it would be great to see. I think it'd be great for the league, but I would be very surprised to see it happen at the same time.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure maybe last season they were thinking, Lazy can't lose the World Series, and then he goes ahead and loses to Weaver. So it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that he doesn't make the postseason. But of course, that's to be sort of that once again scenario where like everything just like falls into place. And against Lazy, you just gotta be perfect. So if someone can just pull that off, well, we've seen it happen. So if someone could do it, then we could go with this hot take.
Yeah, I think if any season it's possible, it's a season like this one. I think there's Luke Archer on the rise, could really make some noise. We got to remember in season 10, Luke did make the World Series. It was after Lazy went on his hiatus, and Luke the runner-up to Floribel in that season. So shout out to Luke for how he looks this season as well, making the Cup final. And that is something else that I wanted to kind of tie into. Speaking of Cup finals and finals in general, Ashnod's coupon is more than due. It's a take I've married myself to last season. I think that something's got to give eventually for the Chicago Blues. They come out time and time again. He's dominant in each and every stat, but he needs to win the big games. I think this season might be the season he does it, but this take I think might have to go through. Like, I don't know if we get the Lazy Ashnod three-peat in a World Series this season, that would be the matchup I think that shakes the earth. But you know, you got Ashnod versus Weaver, and then like I said, Luke's in the mix, Mike's back. So I don't know. I think there's a good chance Lazy does not make the World Series, but I don't think it's by any fault of his own.
As I think, and that's a great take, but I think to go along with that point, one of the coolest things about this season is it's not traditional like, you know, the big five or the big three. Like everybody had to sacrifice something this season. You know, there's no OP. Well, at least we'll have to wait and see to see if there is an OP build, and there's so many different styles, and you know, different things are more valuable to other people. You know what I mean? Like different guys value different things. So I think we'll really not only come to see like some great battles, but who invested in the right things is going to be really fun to see too.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. That's an interesting one to keep an eye on. I'd love to revisit these in a few months and potentially give Mike a little bit of hazing for some of these takes.
Yes.
Or some congratulations. You never know.
No doubt.
So in the preseason power rankings that we went over about 15 minutes ago, Eduardo was ranked 15th, if I'm not mistaken, in the XBL. Mike thinks he reaches the top 8. And yes, I do think this is the hot take, but I do think this is more than possible. Like you said earlier, Dwayne, he has some high ego PR experience, and if he can translate that, this take may not be so cold.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pitching first player, as we know, and he's expert. He's gone up against the best, and you know, I'm gonna buy on it. I'm buying Eduardo top 8. I think he's got the guts to do it. It's just gonna be a matter of his bat can keep up at 80 ego or 90 ego, excuse me, up here at the XBL level, and how he does against the top players is gonna be huge. If he can snipe a game off of somebody like, you know, Ashnod, Lazy, Weaver, Luke, Mike, you know, more than one game, then he's gonna have what it takes. But it'll be in the early going that we determine that shape for Eduardo. But yeah, I'm buying. You know what? Do it for Ted, man. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, with that, I think the key for him, if he is gonna reach top eight, is like I said, he's really gonna have to pull off one of those wins that like not many people can, like beat one of those top 4 people, like you said, like beat a Weaver, or beat a Luke, or beat someone that you know that's gonna have like probably like under like 6, 7 losses, and you know be just one of those few people that you know get the edge on everyone else. You know, maybe get claim that top 8 spot. But we'll see what can happen. You know, anything can happen here.
I love the take. I don't know if it'll necessarily be Eduardo, but here's my hot take. Any AAA call up will make the top 8 or make the playoffs. I think that would be cool to see.
I like it.
I don't think that's unreasonable at all. That's another one we'll have to revisit though when we
Shout out
audit
AAA.
when we audit the VOD. Yeah, shout out AAA indeed. Someone other than myself wins the Von Asen Award. You know, I don't think this is that crazy. I mean, my second one was shared with my good buddy Corruptions. You know, it's not strange, especially with reemergences like Merzdrone and Mike the Cooch. You know, I don't think this is that out of the realm.
Yeah, you know,
This is definitely in the hunt for that.
yeah, you know, I was just about to mention that Merz, like, you know, we've seen him pitch like time and time again. Like, you know, he's one of 2, including myself, for that perfect game, and you know, we've seen him here in the preseason, you know, racking up those nice games, you know, holding teams down to very little runs. So I think if he can have a nice long stretch of, you know, containing a lot of those top teams, you can definitely be in the running and win that Von Asen.
I think it'd be cool to see. You know, again, I go back to the same point. There is new rules. There's a velo cap this year. There's less bullpen velo for a lot of guys. And you're not going to just be able to rely on a high 4-seam fastball velo to strike out a bunch of guys like you may have in the past. So we'll see who's a good pitcher and not just a good thrower this year.
Yeah, that's important to note for sure, Ox. And I think Weaver brought it up that, you know, Mike is involved as well, and with him and Merz in the conversation, those are 2 really experienced pitchers that we've seen hold a lot of people down. And you know, Von Asen's something that I've strived for in the past. I don't think I'm going to be quite in the mix with the numbers, but you know, you never know who's going to be there at the end of the season. We saw Keck in season 10 absolutely dominate and win a Von Asen award. But we'll see. I think a 3-peat for Weaver is tough. But you know, I can buy either direction on this take.
Yeah, you mentioned Kekayula 24 taking it in season 10. Not someone that was picked. I don't remember him impressing on the mound when he was in AAA the previous season. And then in season 11, I mentioned I shared Von Asen with corruptions, and I don't think anyone would have picked him preseason. But so it just goes to show you, it's an area that people can improve on quickly, and they can kind of sneak up out of nowhere. And that's going to be, in both leagues, that's going to be a very interesting award race to watch. It usually is, a pretty close one. We have a AAA take here. AAA preseason #1. So when we wrote this, we didn't know or when or who it was, because we had the joint rankings revealed just 20 minutes ago. So, but it is finite. So this is saying finite does not finish top 4. I'm selling all the way, boys. He looked so good last night in both of his sets. This is a hard sell for me.
Yeah, I agree. Same there. Finite, one of those league office guys, a lot of veteran experience. So he's not your typical AAA, a player. So I don't think he's gonna fall out of top 4. I think he could definitely finish top 4. He can very well, go the complete opposite of this and finish top 1, remain throughout the whole season.
Yeah, guys, look, I'm going to have to apologize for this hot take because, like Weaver said, when this was my hot take, I'll wear the blame for this one. But, the reason I said it is because the last 2 preseasons, #1 in AAA, did not fare well. And also, I was really hoping that it was going to be No Name that was the preseason #1 so that I could predict him not finishing in the top 4. So, no offense to Finite at all. I'm sure he won't, if anything, use it as bulletin board material, bro. But we'll see. We'll see how that one ages.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like one of those takes where it's like, oh yeah, I don't believe that, but it could be something, again, by no fault of his own that is achieved. You know what I mean? Like, he could lose just the handful of enough games and get into some weird tie situation, because you have people on the AAA that are going to win a lot of games. Like, I think Tezzy's going to win a lot of games. I think Ox is going to win a lot of games. I think Rise and Fall is going to win a lot of games. So, I can't. It's one of those where I'm not ready to throw down my hands and say without a doubt there's no way this happens. But it will. Like, Finite looked great last night, but he didn't, drop 40 runs in 4 games. In the 4 games that he played, he played a set afterwards as well, after the match. But we'll see what happens. It's an exciting take. I like it. I don't think Ox has to quite go to his defense just yet.
One last hot take to discuss. 0 AAA players will cancel from the season. This might be a scalding hot take. What do you guys think?
I think this is actually a great take. I think I buy hard on this because we have a good crop. All the new people look to be excited. Everybody seems to be involved, and I think we have a ton of veteran presence right now. That's just in it for the long haul. So I'm buying.
Yeah, and a little backstory should go along with this one. Pretty much every AAA season we lose a guy or two. So, this would be an optimistic prediction.
And me, I'll be a little pessimist here. Like, reality is, like, sometimes people's schedule just can't line up, or for whatever reason they just decide to drop out. Maybe we gotta drop out. Who knows? But I'll go with the sell on this one.
All right. Well, those will be some very interesting hot takes, some interesting predictions to revisit in just a couple months' time once the season 12. I'm sorry, season 13 is over, but that's a long way to go. We just started last night, and it's been great. There's been a lot of great action so far. We've got one more segment for you guys tonight, and it's a reveal. We're going to go over the match of the week matchups. So for anyone in chat who either is a rookie in the AAA or XBL, or was in the AA last year and didn't have access to match of the week, if you are on this list, aka if you opted in via the Flash, the opponent that you are set against your name, you cannot play them until it's time for you to be broadcasted live on the channel. And we, as the casters, will get with you to coordinate all that. But just take note of who you're matched up against. That will be the player that you need to abstain from playing until your date rolls around. So with that said, I'll go down the list and then we'll discuss a little bit. Dwayne versus Webb, that's coming up. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was last night. How could I forget? That was literally not even 24 hours ago, and they split. It was a great matchup. Myself versus Lazy. That's what's coming up next. And again, this is my first reaction too, so I haven't seen this list, but World Series rematch. That's going to be fun. Dark Raider DeGoat versus Merz Drone, a rookie, a AAA call-up versus a longtime vet who is returning this season. That'll be a good pitcher's duel, if nothing else. A couple great competitors. Ashnod's Coupon versus Luke Archer, some playoff rivals. Chronic Lies, and this is Eduardo, some AAA playoff rivals, not mistaken. Milky Yeezus versus Wishbone Rules, couple of former AAA sluggers now in the XBL. Speed Demon, the Wonder Kid versus Permatilt. That'll be good as well. Tentative date July 31st. In the AAA, we already saw Finite Provision versus the Cardiac Card last night. Finite coming out 2-0. Just No Name versus Oxbox. I think we were all hoping this was going to be on the list. Rick versus Mama June June. Should be a lot of fireworks there. Joey versus Mystery Man. A couple of players that will look to shine in the spotlight. And then Fireball Max and Rise and Fall 83. Those will be that's tentatively the final matchup. Looks like there's just going to be the 5 there for the AAA. There is TBD in the slots, so we'll see. There's a lot of time between now and then. But those are the matches of the week. We'll go one by one. Dwayne, the XBL. Which one are you looking at?
In the XPL, one of the ones I've got circled, I'm going to actually go with one of the lower key matches and go with Chronic Lies, and this is Eduardo. That's one I'm going to have marked on my calendar to see how it goes either which way for those players, because they had a hard-fought series last season in the AAA playoffs, and it came out with Eduardo going on top, going to the World Series, and then ultimately losing to Big George. But to see, I always love seeing AAA players on prime time, and then when you see two of them going against each other in their debut XBL season, that's a match I always really look forward to.
No hummus. Which XBL matchup would pique your interest the most?
No, I'm taking a look at these later date matchups here. I think I'm looking at Milky Yeezus versus Wishbone here. That's those two teams. You just said they're both sluggers. That could be very well like their final matchups. And at that point in the season, they could be locked in like in a playoff hunt. Maybe they're like battling it out for that final 1-2 seeds. And so I think that one could be crucial to both of their chances in the playoffs.
And Ox, go ahead and give me a AAA matchup. Which one are you looking at? Besides, I think the
Please,
obvious
don't even
cage
ask.
match.
Look at both of our weeks coming up, man. We've got a Sunday to prepare for, don't we? My gosh.
Yes.
I just wanted to shout out, Dwayne, I don't know if it's you or Flash, whoever does these match of the week pairings. My God, you guys killed it this year. Those are some fire matchups all the way through both leagues.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Flash, who always really tries to take the wheel and make these matchups. It's something that he actually, I think, spends a lot of time doing his research before he drops them, and we appreciate it every time that he does it. That's something that, like I said, he really does like to take the wheel on that, and we let him roll, and he comes out with a great list every season.
Yeah, I mean, down the list on both leagues, just some great matchups. You see similar styles. One I'm looking at, Ashnod versus Luke's a World Series matchup rematch, and then everybody in the AAA side. Those are just going to be really fun to watch and hopefully to call.
Wholeheartedly agree, and no need to memorize these, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be posted in the Discord soon for your reference. This is the Season 13 Match of the Week scheduled tentatively, at least. With that, that's all we have for you tonight. We hope you enjoyed this, I guess you could say, a little bit experimental edition of the Weekly Roundup. This is the first time we've had more than a couple people on here. We've had, I think, a couple guest segments before, but 4 of us on here trying something new. Hope you liked it. And we hope, of course, you have a great rest of your Monday night and a great rest of your week 1. Fellas, any parting words before we let the good people go?
Hummer, you want to go
I got
first?
nothing else to add. Oh yeah, I was saying nope. I got nothing to add here. Thank you all for having me on here.
Ox, anything?
To say thanks, boys. Hell of a cast. It was a great night with you guys. Appreciate the thought everybody puts into these weekly shows, and to all the behind the scenes work that Wishbone, Flash, Dwayne, that all you guys put into this, and big shout out to you guys doing this roundtable show with us tonight.
Yeah, indeed, Ox. I definitely agree. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here, Hummus, Weaver, and Ox. This was really a lot of fun. I think we should do something like this again in the future. We'll try and work in the plans with everybody's availability, how stuff like this can work out. And thank everybody for being here tonight to see all the reveals, all the action, all the excitement. It's been a fun 2 weeks leading up into the season. I hope it's going to be just as exciting, if not more. I don't know. There's something about this season feels like there's going to be a lot of fun energy going on. So let's keep it moving here through week 1 and onward into week 2 and the future. So thank you everybody for being here. Keep your eyes on the schedule, hit your minimums, do your screenshots, get your rosters in if you haven't already. You know, if you had a piss emoji, I don't know how that happened, but you know, don't let that happen. Don't let that happen to yourself. Don't be that guy. Get your roster in. You know, read league news once a week or something. I don't know. Thanks everybody for being here. I love you guys. Everybody's great. Have a safe and pleasant evening, and we'll see you next time.
Later.